actually make it a crime. Crime to speak out against the government. Now, we're at war, right? This is going to set a tradition for what?
Wartime.
During wartime, do you have as much freedom of speech?
No.
No. And we're going to have a sedition act pretty much every time we have a war, right?
Fun stuff.
Do what?
War is fun.
Oh, okay. I was thinking World War I. Somebody impress me. During World War I, what Supreme Court case is going to uphold the Sedition Act and the Espionage Act?
Oh, the one where, like,
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Clear
present
present
danger.
danger test with the fire.
Oh my god.
I don't remember the name.
Something versus U.S. Starts with an S?
Snake!
No, it's cute.
Shank or whatever.
All right. So the whole purpose of the Sedition Act is to silence who?
The
Democratic Republicans. It's like a complete insult for Jefferson. Now you also get the Alien Acts. Who did we not want coming into the United States?
Immigrants.
The French, right? So it's going to make it much more difficult to become a U.S. citizen and to restrict French. Okay. Now, because Democratic Republicans are being put in jail and fined for speaking out, using their freedom of speech against the government during World War time, what do the leaders of the Democratic Republicans do?
Write resolution.
They write resolutions. They're like,
That's
here,
right.
we're going to write angry letters, right? And so you get Jefferson writing the Kentucky Resolution for that state, and Madison writing the Virginia Resolution, right? So this is going to be 1799, both of these.
Yeah.
Okay, now what did these basically together say?
We don't have to follow that.
Yes, states have the right to nullify acts of who?
Federal government.
The federal government. When the federal government does something that's what? Unconstitutional. So who has the right to interpret the Constitution?
States.
The states do, and they can decide when to obey a federal law or not.
Judicial review.
So we're like,
Jefferson and Madison, they're the leaders for the Democratic Republican. They're the voice. Does it do anything?
No.
No, except for Virginia. They're not stupid, right? They have basically just shot the finger at Hamilton and gave him a letter saying that they're doing it, right? So what does Virginia start to do?
Build up its militia.
Building up its militia. Because during the quasi-war, don't do it. Okay, during the quasi-war, we build up our Navy. That's why Adams is called the father of the Navy. We create the Department of the Navy. Because what kind of war is it going to be? It's a naval war. But Congress, under the leadership of Hamilton, actually created a continental army. An army. Now, do we need a standing army for this war? No. But we build one anyway. And Adams is president, he's commander-in-chief, and he has to decide who's going to put in charge of it. Who is the natural choice? Washington. Except for Washington would only do it if his second in command was who? Hamilton. Well, unfortunately for us, Washington dies during the quasi-war, and who gets control of the army? Hamilton. And we all know Hamilton is like a little chill, and he's like, power, 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 money, 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 power, power, power.
He was great.
You did not get that on tape, did you? No.
Oh, yes.
Dang it. Everything's fine. All right.
Alright, so troll dance, yeah.
America's funny.
Oh, no. All right. So, Virginia's building up its militia. Who's got the federal army? Hamilton.
Oh, Lord.
So, basically, Virginia's saying we are not going to obey federal laws. States are refusing to obey it because they've nullified the Alien and Sedition Acts, right? What is the job of the President of the United States? To enforce the laws. Does this sound very familiar to any other president?
Not him.
Well, yes, with the Whiskey Rebellion. Give me another one. It's Jackson, guys.
Yeah.
South Carolina is going to nullify the tariff of 1832,
Truman.
right? And what's the job of the president when a state says they ain't obeying it? To enforce it. Now, does Adams want to enforce this?
No.
No. He hates Hamilton, right? But he's scared that Hamilton's going to use the military without his even saying to do it to go down and attack Virginia. So he is in a really horrible position because he can't control Hamilton. And Hamilton's got the army, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, my God. how can I take the army away from Hamilton?
I mean,
I've got to get rid of this war.
Yeah, so he
Right?
So
So he's going to send over diplomats to try to negotiate an ending to the war. Last time we sent over diplomats, what happened?
XYZ affair.
XYZ affair. So this was a big risk. But his son, J-Quad, remember how he was pretty much raised over there in Europe?
Yeah.
He was the American ambassador for Russia and then I think Prussia after that. And since he was over there, he had talked to the French, and he was like, Dad, send people now. They're willing to listen. Okay? So we.
That was at war with everybody.
Yeah, it wasn't just us. Yeah. And so, because they didn't really want to be at war with us. Not really. And so we send people over, and we negotiate a treaty ending the war. Now, what was the name of the treaty that ended the quasi-war?
Treaty of Montfontaine.
Treaty of Montfontaine. All right? It also had another name, Convention of 1800.
That one too.
Okay?
I remember. Yeah.
Now,
Roden,
Adams ends the war by,
Truman, and Lincoln. Or two others.
Oh, the
Okay.
like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
random.
You're right. Okay, you're right. And Eisenhower, you could argue too.
Yeah.
with
They had
the,
to enforce,
with the Brownie Board
whatever.
and Little Rock Purchase.
Federal legislation.
Okay. Okay, you're right. Those are all smart moments. But okay, Adams, he sacrificed his career, his re-election, because that's